Inabel Soto is halfway through college at the University of California, Irvine. He's worried he won't be able to finish. Tuition went up nearly 14% this school year because of state budget cuts.
Like, my mom already told my little brother that he's gonna have to go to the military so they can pay for his college.
The UC system plans to raise tuition another 6% in July to nearly $13,000. That's more than double what students paid just 5 years ago because the state keeps cutting education funding.
We're going to have to cut deeper, but cutting alone really doesn't do it.
Today, Governor Jerry Brown said the state's budget deficit jumped from $9 billion to $16 billion, largely because tax revenues have been much lower than expected. The unemployment rate here is still 11%.
There has to be a balance and a day of reckoning. This is a type of day of reckoning, and we got to take the medicine.
So the governor announced $4 billion in new cuts, including a 5% pay cut for state workers. He wants to shrink their work week to 4 9.5-hour days to save on building operating costs. Payments to those who care for the disabled would be cut, and the university system would lose another $38 billion. Brown even asked reporters for their ideas.
If one of you guys can think of something better, I'll be glad to. I'll read your story tomorrow, and if it passes the smell test, we might even incorporate it.
Governor Brown says taxes must be raised. He wants a sales tax increase of 1/4 cent and higher income taxes on people making more than $250,000. By California law, voters will decide whether to approve it. If they don't, Brown says there will be more cuts, totaling $6 billion. And those cuts would again hit education hard. The governor warned today that the school year here in California could shrink by up to 3 weeks, and Scott, tuition at colleges and universities would continue to rise.
So, Ben, the plan is that the voters would vote on these tax increases in November. How realistic is it to think that people will vote for the tax increase?
Well, that's an awfully tough sell, but the governor is giving it his best go. He's basically running a campaign for this tax increase and basically leveling with taxpayers and saying you need to decide what kind of state you want to live in. And if you want all these things, you got to pay for them.
Ben, thanks very much. It's not just California. 29 states and the District of Columbia are bleeding red ink this year. Leading the list, along with California, are Illinois, Texas, Massachusetts, and Louisiana.